Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face while you're sleeping. Do you ever find yourself getting lost in thoughts, reminiscing about your childhood memories? Those were simpler times, a reflection of our once innocent selves. The one chance we had to be young and silly, and quite frankly, the only time we got to be carefree. But childhood nostalgia isn't the same for all of us. For some people, childhood wasn't always about comfort and zero responsibilities. And for others, it was an even more difficult time in their lives. In this video, we're going to experience a little of both. Some of these traits are very rare genetic abnormalities that have become part of their daily struggles. Others have strange birth defects that must be corrected. And other kids have harmless traits that are inherited from their also unique parents. One thing they all share in common is that these kids captured the entire world with the unique traits they were born with. What we have lined up for you is a journey through the lives of 10 of the most unusual kids in the world. We also have an intriguing, record-breaking reveal at the end that will surprise you just how resilient the human body can be, so don't miss it. Number 10. Marcia and Millie Biggs. They may not look like it, but Marcy and Millie Biggs are in fact twins. You'd be forgiven for thinking that they're just friends, since one is pale-skinned, blue-eyed, and blonde-haired, while the other is brown-skinned, brown-eyed, and jet-black-haired. The difference in the genetic makeup of these unusual twin girls is a result of each of them taking after one of either of their biracial parents. Marcia predominantly takes after her mom, Amanda Wankiln, while Millie mostly takes after her Jamaican-born father, Michael Biggs. Geneticists affirm that it's not uncommon for biracial couples to bear a child who looks more like one of the parents. If the children are twins, they may be identical and may either look like one parent or resemble both parents. Or they may be non-identical, like Marcia and Millie. Non-identical twins are also called fraternal twins. Their ambiguity goes back to when they were conceived. The mother releases 2 eggs simultaneously, which are then fertilized by 2 different sperms. Since these unusual twins come from 2 separate eggs, geneticists maintain that the girls do not share the same exact DNA. Hence, their different ethnicity and ancestry appearance. They are no more alike than siblings born of the same parents in separate pregnancies. But for these twins from Birmingham, all that genetic jumble means nothing. They're sisters, and they're best friends. Number 9. Versavia Boran Goncharova. This brave and fearless little girl was born with her heart outside her chest, but she's been living what most people would call a normal life despite her unusual condition. You'll find little Versavia singing, dancing, or drawing. At school, she plays with the other children just like most vibrant regular school kids. But at only 10 years old, Versavia has gone through a lot more than any regular kid could handle. Her vulnerable condition means that she has to be hospitalized frequently in order to address her complex medical care needs. Doctors will have to operate on her to correct the condition. However, this isn't easy since her blood pressure is always high, making an operation risky. Versavia's condition is extremely rare. Pediatric cardiologists identified the condition to be pentology of Cantrell, POC, and that Versavia's own case was a form of POC that was at the extreme end of the spectrum for conditions. Versavia once had an accident at school, and she was immediately hospitalized. Apparently, one of the boys in her class forgot to play nice. The girl's mother, Dari Boran, shared a remarkable Instagram video post of Versavia hospitalized after the incident at school. In the post, little Versavia was hooked up to medical equipment, and you could easily make out her little heart beating outside the protective walls of her chest. Hers is the story of an unusual little girl with a remarkably strong spirit that protects her from a complex and severe condition that leaves her heart exposed and vulnerable. Number 8. Melanie Dickerson. Disney princesses are often portrayed as having innocent but notoriously huge eyes. It's what makes them look attractive and stand out from the rest of the characters. Perhaps that is the reason why most little girls dream of becoming princesses. But how would a real-life Disney princess look? Round face, fair skin, cute little nose and ears. Oh, and big, beautiful eyes. That's exactly how Melanie Dickerson looks. Her big and beautiful black eyes are a rare sight. Her mother, Karina Martinez, says that strangers would always marvel at how enormous and seemingly unreal her eyes were. Some can't resist but walk up to her and say hello and compliment her. The 4-year-old even got a ton of followers on social media after her mother posted her picture on Twitter when she was just a toddler. The photo quickly went viral, and everybody wanted to know who this real-life Disney princess was. Sadly, very few people know that Mulaney's unique, gorgeous eyes are actually caused by a genetic condition called Axenfeld-Rieger syndrome. This rare disorder affects multiple organ systems, but is majorly known to manifest in the front part of the eye, causing cornea and iris defects. Mulaney had to undergo surgery at 5 months old, and she is required to go for regular checkups to stabilize her eyesight. She also has to put on sunglasses whenever she goes out, even to play with other kids. Today, the little princess isn't famous only for her unusual huge, mostly sweet and expressive eyes, but also for the extraordinary level of bravery she exudes at such a tender age. Number 7. Jare Ijealana. This 6-year-old girl from Nigeria has been dubbed the most beautiful girl in the world. Portrait photos of this girl were first seen on social media in 2018, and everybody went crazy about how magnificently beautiful she was. Jare's pictures and stories have since featured on different platforms on digital media. She revealed that she wished to become a professional model when she grows up. But even as a child model, the girl has achieved so much. She won the African Child Fashion Personality Award in Ghana and recently walked the runways of London Fashion Week. Jare shares most of her photos and news about herself on an Instagram page co-managed by her mother. The pictures she shared from the runway of the London Fashion Week were extraordinary. She dedicated those particular pictures to young fans. Remarkably, Jare always remembers to encourage her peers, even with all the international buzz about her pure and innocent beauty. For most, this is the epitome of beauty. Number 6. Miliana Worthy. Let's take a trip back to 1996. Walt Disney's 101 Dalmatians hit the theater and everyone loved to hate the film's main antagonist, Cruella de Vil. But it's the split down the middle black and white color of her once blonde hair that makes her character stand out. Back to the present time, photos of the adorable baby Millieanne's white locks show a distinctive resemblance to Cruella de Vil's iconic hairdo. But unlike de Vil, the girl's unusual locks are not a result from some veil of magic ink spilling on her hair. Miliana was born with a striking streak of white hair. In fact, she's the 4th generation of the family to be born with unusual white locks on the forehead. Social media went abuzz with Miliana's unique hair. Still, many of her newfound fans are aware that the beautiful special feature is caused by a benign acquired disorder known as scoliosis. It is not a harmful condition. Brianna Worthy, the girl's mother, says she was thrilled to see that her baby had the unique birthmark, same as her and her grands. Brianna was, however, worried for her baby since, as a little girl, she went through some kind of bullying, and some mean kids would call her names like skunk. Still, she says that the comments they gave Miliana were mostly positive. She adds that she will stand by her baby, so she goes to embrace her unique feature and beauty. Number 5. Luis Manuel. This unusually big baby from Western Mexico was only 10 months old, but outweighed any regular 9-year-old. Luis Manuel was born with an average weight, but soon gained extra weight mysteriously. At only 10 months old, the boy weighed over 28 kilograms. At the time, he was putting on clothes meant for 2- to 3-year-olds. The boy's father, Mario Gonzalez, was worried that his newly born baby and the health implications for his child's unusual condition. He feared that the family wouldn't afford any advanced medical attention their son would need. Experts believe the unusual boy to be suffering from hormone imbalance. Since the boy is not an excessive eater, an earlier diagnosis that Luis Manuel might be having Prader-Willi syndrome had to be ruled out. Prader-Willi syndrome is a genetic disorder characterized by an insatiable appetite and reduced muscle tone. This rare condition often leads to obesity. The Gonzalez family has to frequent the doctor's office for tests and medical advice on how to take care of this overweight baby. They have set up a dedicated bank account for donations from family, friends, and well-wishers to help with the high cost of Luis Manuel's medical care. Number 4. Jean-Chris Charles Quarant. This may sound unbelievable, but 12-year-old Jean-Chris had 300 teeth at one point. He was born with an unusual condition known as hyperdontia, which is said to affect only 1% to 4% of children in the world. This rare condition affects the dental organs and causes what experts call supernumerary teeth. In layman, the patient appears to have extra teeth as additions to the number of teeth a healthy person should have. What makes Jean-Chris's condition bizarre is that the access dentitions have grown across his entire dental arc. This means that he has teeth appearing even on his palates. Despite his dental anomalies, the little boy from Cebu, Philippines, goes to school and lives a somewhat normal life. His teachers praise him as being a hard worker and a sharp pupil, and he's quite ambitious too. His wish is to learn and become a civil engineer. But before he gets there, Jean-Chris will undergo several operations to remove the excessive teeth surgically. He has had 40 teeth removed so far, and his parents hope subsequent surgical procedures will be successful. Number 3. Isaiah Bird. Wrestling without legs. How's that even possible? Well, this little gladiator from New York says that he don't need no legs when he's on the wrestling mat. Isaiah Bird was born without legs, but his ability to tackle and overpower non-disabled opponents is remarkable. This determined kid just doesn't let his physical limitations define who he is. What makes him even more amazing is that he displays impressive discipline, remarkable strength, and an enormous spirit. This is perhaps what makes Isaiah Bird an inspiration to everyone who gets to know his story. The boys' coach, Rodriguez, says that he might have taught Isaiah everything about tackling opponents on the wrestling mat. Because of his zeal and determination, the boy touched the hearts of UFC middleweight champ Chris Weidman to lend a hand to his family. Weidman even organized fundraisers to help Isaiah's family get back on their feet at a time when they needed a helping hand the most. Now it's time for today's best pick. In today's best pick, we found an unusual boy who, despite his physical limitations, teaches himself some fundamental responsibilities that make his triumph over extraordinary adversities. Number 2. Tio Satrio. Are you playing video games with a game controller for the first time? You might find it difficult because it takes an incredible amount of time to memorize the different buttons and consolidate specific finger movements into memory. You'll even find it to be more difficult if you have no hands, because then how would you even hold the controller? Tio Satrio was born without arms and legs, but refuses to let his condition stop him from enjoying his favorite PlayStation games. He uses his chin and shoulders to play on his console game. This unusual boy from West Java, Indonesia, spent hours of practice to get the basics down in most games, and even went further to prefer some complex moves. Tio can also write, holding the pen in his mouth. He initially struggled even to get the pen in his mouth, but he now finds it quite easy. The teachers at his special needs school are impressed with Tio's academic progress. They say that he even can solve advanced math problems meant for pupils 2 grades above his. The boy's parents are trying their best to ensure that he lives a happy and healthy life, but even this isn't easy for them. The family used to receive state funding to help with Tio's various special needs, but his financial support from the government is no longer forthcoming. Tio has 4 siblings, and his parents have to balance between staying at home to care for him and going to work in order to feed for the needs of the large family.
I saved the best for last, but first, I have a quick challenge that takes only 5 seconds to complete. If you can leave a like and subscribe within the next 5 seconds, you'll get 10 years of amazing luck. Just try it, it really works.
Number 1. Mrs. Vasilyeva. Meet Mrs. Valentina Vasilyeva. No, she's not a kid. But before you question what she's doing in this list of the most unusual kids in the world, how many children do you think one woman can have in her fertile years? Mrs. Vasilyeva's is a tale of the most extraordinary mother with an unusual number of offspring. She was the first wife to the 18th century Russian peasant farmer Fedor Vasilyev, with whom she had 69 children. But what makes her story even more extraordinary is that she gave birth to all these children in 27 pregnancies. Yeah, Mrs. Vasilyeva actually went through 27 labors, giving birth to 4 quartets and quadruplets, 7 trios of triplets, and 16 pairs of twins. Don't you think it's unusual that the Vasilyev children survived infancy? Well, scientists and reproductions experts agree that it is impossible to survive that many labors. Even with the advancements and sophistication of modern medicine, complications are bound to happen, putting both the mother and the babies at risk. Yet, historical facts actually support that Vasilyev's story of extraordinarily fertility. In fact, Miss Vasilyeva is listed in the Guinness World Records as the most prolific mother ever. That's it for today's video of the most unusual kids in the world. Whose story did you find the most interesting? Do you know of any special kid we haven't mentioned here? Let's have a chat in the comment section below. Since you're here, we have a small favor to ask. Click the like and subscribe buttons, and we'll notify you every time a fantastic video just like this one comes up. See you in the next one.